All right, so next we're going to be doing tonal values, and this is just we're using a wash and layering up the wash in steps and letting each layer completely dry. So I'm going to do this using blue because tonal values is a good way to see how you can go from a lighter wash and slowly build up the value or the tone of that wash by letting the bottom layer dry and then reapproaching it with another layer of the wash when the bottom layer is completely dry. So if you were doing this without a blow dryer and you're just waiting for the layers to dry, give it like 10 minutes in between. Do this over the next hour. Take your time with it. The more time you take with it, the better the quality of the values, okay? And the more crisper the divisions. If you have a hair dryer, it could speed up the process, but that's optional. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I like to play around with blues whenever I do tonal values because I find that this is nice exercise that reminds me of painting kind of the background hills in a landscape. So I'm just rinsing my brush off, bringing some water into some blue paint to create a nice blue wash. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is a flat wash right across, just like we did in the last video. So we're gonna charge up our brush with paint and just moving quickly. Cover the square with, okay, some color here. Again, just like the top, a nice flat wash. So if you're waiting for this to dry, give it a solid 5 to 10, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and blow dry it just so this video doesn't last forever. Even after I blow dry it, I find that it's a little bit damp, so I like to just have it return back to room temperature. Just give it a bit. Okay, and so when it's completely dry, I'm gonna go back to my blue wash, and now I'm gonna leave a couple of fingers of space, right? And I wanna do, let's see, I could fit 1, 2, 3. Let's try at least 4 different tones. If we could push it, we could get 5 in here. I'm gonna go ahead and try for 5. So you can even take your pencil and make little marks for yourself so that you know how to divide it. My square is just over 10 centimeters, so yeah, I'll give each section roughly 2 centimeters, 2 and change. Okay, So the first section I'm going to leave this value, then the next one moving out, I'm going to do a second layer of wash on top of it. So I feel like it's a little bit blotchy, see, and it's probably because the paper underneath is still a touch damp. You really want to let the bottom layer really dry up before you go ahead with the second layer. The key to watercolor paints, really, if you want crisp lines, is to let each layer dry. Okay, so it's a little bit blotchier than I like, but I'm not gonna keep on finicking with it because it's just gonna get worse. So again, I'm gonna let it dry, and as you guys will notice, when your watercolor dries, it tends to lighten up a little bit. And I actually just realized some hair dryers, they have a little bit of a cool button. So after you're done adding heat to it, you can actually press the cool button and that'll cool down the paper so that it's not too hot to the touch. Okay. Or again, after you're done blow drying it, just walk away from it for a bit to let it come back to normal temperature. Okay, and now we're gonna go to our next marking here and add a third layer of our blue wash, or whatever color you're using, you can stick to. And again, see, whenever I go over one area and the bottom layer is still dry, I tend to have a mess. So this is the whole reason why we're practicing on a separate sheet, right? So we can pick up on these little things before we realize that it's better that we realize that they happen on a practice sheet rather than on our good painting. Okay, and then let this dry. The other thing to note is that you're being really gentle with your brush. You're kind of just letting the paint fall on the paper. You're not scraping away at it. My lines aren't the straightest here, but that's okay. I'm actually going to go over this one more time because I feel like these two are way too close. And again, I feel like the bottom might be a little too damp still, even if I'm blow drying it. I'm just trying to do this video quickly so that it doesn't go over 15 minutes. So I'm just going to go over this one more time. And again, I'm just rushing this because I want to make my video clip a max of 15. Okay, but when I dry it again, and the more you let it dry, the more obvious your different values will be.